Hello, welcome back to my channel. But if you're new here, my name is Jed, and in this video I'll talk about my Pokemon North American International Championships 2026 tournament run. Basically the whole tournament reports and how each matchup went down. I know it was about a month ago, but I wanted to upload this at the same time as my vlog. So if you haven't watched the vlog yet, I'd highly recommend watching that first and then going back to this video so that you can get the whole inside scoop, the whole shebang about this whole tournament. Yeah, let's just get into it. Going to this tournament, I wanted to play a deck that I would, be really comfortable with, and something that I could not use too much brain power just because it is my first tournament, and I wanted to be comfortable with it because it was actually my first time playing the best of three format. Previously, I have never played best of three rounds before, so I needed to play something where I could know when to scoop or know how to at least play the game really fast so that I could optimize my gameplay as much as I can. So I decided on Honchkrow just because I feel like that deck is very straightforward. As long as you know the proper sequencing and you know your odds of getting certain things. All right, let's get into it. So round one, I faced up against Yunrun Kai, and first game, oh my gosh, it was a very slow game for both of us. We both just couldn't get our setup going, and pretty much how it went is I was able to get my setup going faster than he did, and I won that way. Then game two, I could have had a good chance in winning this game, but I missed an important knockout. I just needed to get one more supporter, and I whiffed it from the roto stick, so I ended up losing game two. Then game three, there was not enough time. We went to overtime, and we just couldn't finish the game, so it ended up being a tie. So round two, I faced up against Micah, and this is actually a good matchup for me because it's against Slot Box or Basic Box. But the thing is, he was playing Lily's Pearl, which kind of messes up the prize race a little bit. But here's how it went. So in game one, I was able to knock out his Kangaskhan early on, so I took 3 prizes. Then from there, the game was pretty simple. Then game two, he took the prizes really fast because I could not set up really well. When I needed to get 2 prizes for the prize race, he put a Lily's Pearl on his Skulfairy, which kind of messed up my prize racing at that point, so I had to scoop up and go to game three. Then game three happened. I chose to go first, and I just did not have a good hand. I started with Articuno and no other supporter to get me any other bench Pokemon. So what he ended up doing was he saw my Articuno, then he powered up his second attack to torrential pump my Articuno out of existence. So that was rough. So what was supposed to be a good matchup ended up being an L, unfortunately. But here's where things turned around. So round three, I paired up against Nikki, and he played Polt Chicken. And I don't remember the details much of this matchup except for game three. Game one, I won. Game two, he won. But game three, it went down to the wire. It was actually kind of insane how I won this. So what had happened was I went to overtime. I was turn 0. He was turn 1. I knocked out his Dragapult on turn 0. And that took me from 3 prizes to 1 prize. And essentially what had happened is he unfair stamped me. I'm like, oh shoot, okay, I don't have really much to work around. He bossed up my Articuno, putting my Honchkrow with the Team Rocket's energy on the bench. He had a Blaziken in the active. I drew into a Team Rocket's energy and some other card. And I ended up top decking a Transceiver, which was my out to win this game, because what I did was I picked out Team Rocket's Giovanni, and I just attached that Team Rocket's energy to my Honchkrow on the bench that already has an energy, and I took out his Drakloak on the bench with Hammer In. So I won that round because of the Hammer In. Shout out to Hammer In. Then my round 4 opponent, he played Raging Bolt. Those matches were pretty easy because he could not draw well in both games. I believe in both games he only took 1 prize card. So it was not an easy match for him. But lucky for me, since I only played single prize, I just took out his Kangaskhan in both games. So it made the games pretty easy from there. Then round 5, I played up against my very first international player, Florian. He ended up playing Zoroark, and at this point of the tournament, I didn't know about Tor's List. So he was playing something very similar to Tor's List, or it might be the Tor's List. I didn't know about the tomes at the time. So when I saw him discard his Darumaka, I'm like, okay, wait. But he ended up bringing it back with the tomes. He was dead drawing a lot, and there was a crucial turn in one of the games where he preemptively put a Binding Mochi on his Zoroark and benched his Pecharunt. So I was able to Giovanni up his Pecharunt, which would negate his poison onto the Zoroark, therefore not being able to knock out the Honchkrow in one turn with using Darmanitan as a play. That was like one of the main plays I remember in that tournament, and I remember just having a win con with Porygon too as well, after he was not able to get enough prizes from then. So I was able to win that round. Then in round 6, I played up against Dakota. He was playing Polt Hammers. And the thing that helped me in this matchup is that since Honchkrow was not really much on anyone's radar, since Dragapult is like the main deck to focus on, he didn't really know how to approach this matchup, to be honest. So, and he was dead drawing everything. Like, he could not draw his unfair stamp. I thought it was prized, but it was actually in his deck, which was insane. And he couldn't really hit any of his hammers. And when he did, at that point, it didn't really matter because that Pokemon was going to be knocked out anyways. So I remember that was like game 1. And then game 2, in game 2, I remember he started first with Pheasantipity. He attached an energy there. I remember attaching the energy to my Murkrow, and then I used second attack to negate him from attacking. So basically, he couldn't snipe at that point. And the next turn, I was able to get my Honchkrow out and take my first 2 prizes, which was pretty nice, not gonna lie. And then from there, I just took over the game. Then round 7, I faced up against Shun Takamasa. And Shun is actually from the Bay. Oh, he's originally from Japan, but he is representing the US and California itself. So shout out to Shun. One of the matchups that I didn't want to face into this tournament was Poltnor. Man, Poltnor is a really bad matchup for me, especially from a great player like Shun. He's like the master of this deck. So one of my thoughts going to this tournament was I don't want to face a Poltnor player who's really good and would know this matchup pretty well. And I happened to face against Shun. So that was a bit unfortunate. But game 1, I was getting really close for the knockout. Remember, we both had 3 prizes left, and I was 1 supporter away from getting the win. I had 3 Roto Sticks. I remember getting a few supporters from the first 2, and I just needed 1 more supporter to knock out his Polt. And he also had his Dusknoir on the bench, and I just could not get that last supporter. So I ended up losing that first game. And then second game, I could not set up really well, and he just took over. So he took that win from me. So round 8, it was my winning game. I played up against Tom. Really cool guy. We were just cracking jokes the whole entire time we were playing. Very, very chill atmosphere despite the stakes that were going to it. And crazy enough, the person diagonal for me was Gustavo Wada. So I got really lucky that I didn't pair into Gustavo because he was also playing Poltnor, and man, I would have been crushed. But game 1, I had a really good setup, and he was still learning the matchup against Honchkrow, since I would say it's a very niche archetype. And then game 2, I had 5 freaking mulligans, so he just took over that whole game. In game 3, he just could not draw into any good cards, and I think he gave me 2 mulligans, 1 or 2 mulligans that game, and I just took over that one. So, man, it came down to the wire, at least game-wise, that I could either miss out on day 2 or make it. So I ended up making it. Very, very happy about that. And I unlocked my Limitless page. Let's go. Then I still had to play my first round of phase 2, which was against Jack, round 9. So he played a really interesting deck, Polt Frostlass. And in the beginning of the round, we agreed to do a gentleman's agreement because he was trying to shoot really high. Like he was trying to go for like top 16 or top 64. So I'm like, okay, let's just do a gentleman's agreement. I didn't really know how it worked, but I'll just explain how the matchup went. So game 1, he started with a Shaman, and I had a really good setup. And then from there, I was just taking over the whole entire game because I had so many Team Rocket energies in my hand, and I was able to power up my Pokemon really fast and just take out his Bidoos one by one, and then his 2 prizers. So it was a pretty simple game 1. Then game 2, he just took over. Got a really good setup and everything. So I ended up losing game 2. The game 3, it went very interesting. What had happened was that we went to overtime. We couldn't finish the game. We were both on 3-3 prizing left. He had a Dragapult, Frostlass, Snorunt, and Munkidori on his board. He just knocked out one of my Pokemon, like my Honchkrow Murkrow. And I had a Murkrow in my active and then a Articuno, damaged Articuno on my bench. I believe it had like 5 damage counters on it. I didn't know how game state worked, so we were just checking like our discard piles and like current hand. We were giving our arguments like, oh, why I should take the win, and he was giving arguments of why he should take the win. So I'm like, you know what? It's not that serious. This is my first day getting day 2, and he really wanted to win the entire tournament. Considering his game board, I would have had less of a chance. I still had a good chance if we could continue the game to at least try to win, but I gave him the win. I could have went for the tie, but I decided to give a win because I wanted to just be a man of my word with a gentleman's agreement. So just give him the win. Not a big deal. And then day 2 happened. My first round of that day was actually a bye. So I think honestly it was kind of interesting. I was like, damn, I'm being rewarded for giving that game to him, and I got the bye instead. So I'm like, hey, I'll take it. So a free win for me, which is very nice. So I'm not sure if the math is right here, but I had a 1 in 675 chance in getting the bye, which was insane. That is a 0.14% chance in getting it. So I was very, very lucky in getting that. I'm not sure if the percentage is based on the total amount of players of day 2 or if it's on people who had the same record as me. So if that was the case, then it might have been much lower. But still, I think it was a pretty big pool of people that had a chance to get a bye regardless. So wow, that was amazing. Then for round 11, I faced up against Michelle, and Michelle played Hydrapple. And one thing I forgot about this matchup is that Hydrapple does play Briar, and I did not take that into account. So I totally forgot about Briar game 1. She could not get it, and I ended up winning it. So I was like super close to winning the game. It's 4-2. She was up on prizes. I knocked out an EX Pokemon, and then I was like, okay, I just need to knock out one more EX Pokemon, and then I'll be good. And then she pulls out the Briar, and I'm like, oh shoot, you know what? I deserve the loss because I totally forgot about it. I'll be honest, even though it has saved me a few games before with Charizard. So I lost that one, and then game 3 we just did not have enough time, so I took the L with that one. Then round 12, pulled hammers. Can't really say much. Yeah, took the L there. Then round 13 was really cool. I met a fellow YouTuber. His name is Matt Bridges. I believe his channel is Controlled Chaos Gaming with underscores. So shout out to Matt. And it was a very good matchup for me. I remember knocking out Kangaskhan in both games. And the prize race was very easy for me. The matchup felt really good. Won both games. But I gotta say, game 2 was actually very, very interesting. It came down to the wire because he played to his outs. I basically set up a next turn I'm going to win with Porygon 2, but he ended up using his Pheasantipity to snipe my Porygon 2 instead of attacking my Honchkrow in the active. But what had happened was that I played my hand really well. I was able to discard my hand down to 1 with Ariana being that last card. Then I used that Ariana to draw 8 cards. And I got the nuts with 2 supporters and then playing the factory, which got me the Miracle headset to get 2 more supporters and hit for 240 damage to knock out the Pheasantipity. In round 14, I faced up against Anon. He was playing Pulled Hammers. He outplayed me there, so gotta give him that. So yeah, at the end of the tournament, I ended up getting 489th place out of 3,752 players. I cannot complain about that. That puts me in the top 13%. I was one of 13 Honchkrow players to make day 2 out of 88 players, which is crazy. Happy to represent this deck and happy about my finish. I got 9 booster packs from it and 80 championship points. Those 80 championship points were the only points I got throughout this whole season because I was playing very casually, I'm not going to lie. But for next season, I'm gonna go for an Ace Trainer. I want to get at least 200 championship points. so that I can get that cool Ace Trainer card as a result. Hopefully this video gave you some insight about how my whole tournament run went. And thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your support. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. And I'll see you guys in another video. Peace out.